Spanish National Police have begun to seize ballot boxes and voting papers from some Catalan polling stations as voters began casting ballots in Catalonia's disputed independence referendum this morning. Riot police clashed with voters outside a Barcelona voting station, where dozens of police used riot shields to push people back, a witness said, as voters chanted, "We are people of peace and we are not afraid." Civil Guard police have entered a voting station in Girona province, where Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont is due to vote. Thousands of Catalans gathered at designated polling stations this morning as they sought to defy Spanish authorities by voting in a banned independence referendum that has raised fears of unrest in the region. The referendum, declared illegal by Spain's central government, has thrown the country into its worst constitutional crisis in decades and raised fears of street violence as a test of will between Madrid and Barcelona plays out. Civil Guard National Police also streamed in a convoy through the streets of Barcelona in the early morning, but at dawn there was no sign of either national or Catalan police enforcing a court order to lock down the polling stations. Organizers smuggled ballot boxes into some stations before dawn in black plastic bags. Later, voters blocked doors at some sites in anticipation that police could try to enter and take over the stations. At a Barcelona school, organizers asked people to use passive resistance if police intervened. "I have got up early because my country needs me," said Eulalia Espinal, a 65-year-old pensioner who started queuing with around 100 others outside one polling station, a Barcelona school, in rain at about 4 a.m. "We don't know what's going to happen, but we have to be here," she said. Organizers had asked voters to turn out hours before polling stations were supposed to open at 8 a.m. and called for massive crowds by 6:30 a.m., hoping for this to be the world's first image of voting day. Leading up to the referendum, Spanish police arrested Catalan officials, seized campaigning leaflets, sealed off many of the 2,300 schools designated as polling stations, and occupied the Catalan government's communications hub. However, Catalan leaders, backed by pro-independence supporters, have refused to abandon their plans. Families have occupied scores of schools earmarked as voting centers, sleeping overnight in an attempt to prevent police from sealing them off. If some voting goes ahead, a yes result is likely, given that many unionists are not expected to turn out. "If I can't vote, I want to turn out in the streets and say sincerely that we want to vote," said independent supporter José Miro, a 60-year-old schools inspector. Pro-independence Catalan leader Carles Puigdemont originally said that, if the yes vote won, the Catalan government would declare independence within 48 hours, but regional leaders have since acknowledged Madrid's crackdown has undermined the vote. The ballot will have no legal status as it has been blocked by Spain's constitutional court, and Madrid has the ultimate power under its 1978 charter to suspend the regional government's authority to rule if it declares independence. The Madrid government, which has sent thousands of police to Catalonia to enforce a court ban on the vote, believes it has done enough to prevent any meaningful referendum taking place. Farmers have used tractors to guard polling stations in over 30 Catalan towns, according to Spanish media reports. They included one at a sports center in Sant Julià de Ramis, near Girona, where Puigdemont is scheduled to vote. At other polling centers, activists carried away some schools' iron gates to make it harder to seal them off. A minority of around 40% of Catalans support independence, polls show, although a majority wants to hold a referendum on the issue. The region of 7.5 million people has an economy larger than that of Portugal